In this episode, we're going to install a few satellite dishes, add in some power, and play around with some wiring and decoration. So if you're out there listening right now, don't touch that dial. Alright, welcome back. This is episode 3 of our Appalachia radio build. And if you remember last episode, we worked on the fence that surrounds the radio tower and then as well as the main building, along with the kind of offset roof. So my goals for this episode are to add in a little bit more detail, like radio style details, like the power pylons, and I put in a request to Bethesda support to get the satellite dish, and I actually got it this morning, which is great. So I'm going to be using the satellite dish a little bit, and I'm going to be playing around with different ideas, and maybe I'll try to kind of get it up onto the radio tower just a little bit, see if that could work. So first things first, though, what I want to do from last episode, though, is I want to lower this entryway foundation just a tiny bit, so that it's not as steep to get up, and it's a little bit more pleasing to the eye. If you remember, this is so tall because of this rock here, which is fine. But yeah, I just want to kind of mix it up a little bit. And also, I thought about putting underpinnings on here. I tried at one point, but this rock is kind of preventing it from going there. So I might skip that and maybe try to do something else over in this area altogether. It doesn't actually look half bad that way. I usually don't like exposed foundations, but the way this looks is not too bad. Okay, so in order to do this, what I think I might need to do is just remove these walls, and let's see if I can do this here. Floor. Perfect. Okay. Now before I put that in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some stairs. I think that the haunted house, the dark ones, are good. And then that. Get rid of that, and we'll do another set of stairs. Oh my god, you're not going to go. Are you kidding me? You'll go. That's fine. Let me see what else there is. Why won't you go? That's crazy. Cement stairs will go, obviously. They always do. I think the wooden stairs are fine. And I think I just went ahead and removed these, I think, before I started filming. Just give a little more free space. Free budget. So yeah, that looks pretty good. So it's less of a kind of a climb to get in there. So yeah. Okay, so now let's take a look at this radio dish. I also got the stuff from that Prime bundle. I don't have Prime, I just got the free trial. So I'd recommend getting that stuff. I don't have energy here, power. This bowling alley. Volta quilt, oh my god. This thing. Well, I just got the birthday cake too, which is great. Okay. So this looks pretty cool. Let's see if I can get this up here somehow. So I'm just sizing up the dish to make sure it'll fit up on that little ledge. I'm going to merge it down onto a little Nuka-Cola trinket, like is my kind of standard MO, and which should allow it to kind of sit up there pretty well. Like I've said in other videos, those little Nuka-Cola, I think they're called statues, I call them trinkets. They're just invaluable because they're such a small footprint, they'll fit pretty much anywhere. That's not bad. Let me hop into this mode. What I'll do is I'll put it down a little bit more. Let's see. Okay. I'll merge it down a little bit more so the base of it is in between those two things. I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well. Yeah, just like that. It's perfect. Yeah, just like that. So it fits right in underneath that. There we go. Looks good. Oh. Okay. Now we might want to do another one. And maybe at the base here. So what I might do is I need something to put it on. The base of the satellite dish is a little small for me, like a little too fragile, so I like to beef it up with merging it into something. So here I'm using the radiation glove box, but you can use, there's a bunch of stuff you could probably use. There's barrels and other various things, but this one just seemed to kind of work good for me for this instance anyway. At this point, I'm just trying to get a sense of like where I want these to go. I think there's probably going to be 4 total, 1 pointing in each direction. And so I'm just trying to get a feel and like a visual feel of like what I want. And even though it's not fitting here right now, I'll probably come back later and add it. I do this thing sometimes where if I'm kind of scrolling through the build menu and I find something that I want that I probably might not remember later, I'll just place it anyway. So that's what I'm doing with this planter. This is a big boy. Holy cow. It's a little bit too big for this build though. Alright, so now in order to add a little bit more immersiveness to the build, I'm going to place down a bunch of power pylons and various things that I think could work well with the satellite dish. And just to get a sense of kind of how I want to position them and where I want them to sit within the build. The pylons are definitely great for adding height, so what I'm going to try to do is merge one of the satellite dishes on top of a pylon to see how that looks. The base of the satellite dish is a little bit too wide to fit on the pylon itself, but if you've been watching this far, you'll probably know that I'm going to merge it down into a little Nuka-Cola trinket so that it'll fit perfectly right on top. In this case, the positioning of the trinket is going to be really important because it'll allow the base of the satellite dish to kind of sit right on top of the pylon, so it actually looks supported. So here I'm merging it pretty much dead center.
Top dead center.
If you position it right, the base of the satellite dish will kind of fit right snugly in there. The trinket will show, but that's something we can fix later. I just kind of wanted to see what this would look like. Okay, so now it's really just a matter of positioning it, and this is really just, I think, up to you. Visually, to me, it made more sense to put this one facing the valley, and then I'll use the other one to face the other way. So, like I said, it's all kind of up to you, but to me, visually, this kind of made more sense. The one merged into the radiation box wouldn't fit before, but I'm going to force it by just destroying the fence and the junk wall as well, which should kind of free up a little bit of space so it'll fit right in there. So all I'm doing is really just going for like a visual thing here. So I have 3 different satellite dishes pointed in 3 different directions. This one, obviously, if you know anything about satellite dishes, it's probably not going to do anything because it's, broken up by the tree, but these other ones seem to be doing okay. And like I said, I really just want it to look like it's purposeful. So each one is at a slightly different height. Each one is pointed in a slightly different direction. And yeah, I just really dig this so far. So I might think about putting another one over on this side because that's where the stuff is going to be. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I do need to get some wiring over here. And so I need to think of a good way to do that. And so that's going to be kind of my next big thing. So give me a minute to think about it. To me, wiring can really make or break a camp. You should pretty much be doing everything you can to make sure that no wires are visible in your camp unless it's actually necessary for that theme. So in this instance, there's already wiring going around. This is a radio station after all, so there's going to be wires kind of going back and forth between the building and the satellite dishes and the radio tower and everything. So making it purposeful is the name of the game here. I'm going to be using this solar panel to basically power the entire build. There are some people out there that build really excessive power that they don't need. So in this case, a solar panel would work perfectly for what she needs here. I could have left the solar panel just as is, but I wanted to kind of beef it up a little bit, and so I'm merging it down into this pit barrel. If you notice, I hit it dead center on the first try, like, not to brag or anything, but but it's a good way to just kind of add some visual interest to kind of otherwise stock assets. All right, so here I'm trying to figure out a way I could kind of easily power the building itself in a kind of a realistic way. So I'm going to try my hand at conduits, and I'm going to run them along the top of the stone fence, and they kind of work pretty easily in that way. But I don't know if I'm going to keep this in the end, so we'll see. And ultimately, I'm showing you this stuff because it's really all part of the process. And so I don't just come out and know instantly what I want to do or like exactly how I want to build something, but it's all iterative and it's all just kind of playing around with ideas and figuring stuff out. And it's okay, if ideas don't work out. And even if you have an idea that doesn't work out for one camp, definitely bank it for another build in the future. Like, I've had so many ideas that didn't quite work out for the camp I was building at the time, but in a future camp, it worked out like great. So it's all just about learning. All right, here I'm playing around with another idea where I want to kind of connect the satellite dishes over to the building. And so I'm like, well, how can I use like another power pylon? In this case, I'm using kind of a defensive, the siren pylon thing. And I want to kind of fit it inside the building. So in order to do that, I need to remove a piece of the roof, to kind of play around with the layout and kind of get a sense of like what I want to do. Because it was a little too short to fit above the roof on its own, I'm going to merge it down into one of these communication modules to kind of make sure it's lifted up above the roof, and that way it'll kind of look a little bit more immersive. Because it's offset, the roof won't place because of the walls below it, so all you need to do is remove the walls and replace the roof, and then just replace the walls again. Okay, so bear with me on this one. I didn't really want the bare pylon just sticking out of the roof. I needed there to be some sort of indicator or like reason why, and so what I decided to do was merge one of the Nuka-Cola lamps down into the pyrotechnic kit, and then I'm going to merge that down into the pylon itself. It's not entirely perfect, but we got to remember that this place was rebuilt by Julie, so there's going to be a little bit of imperfections here and there. Alright, I'm adding the walls back so I can reposition this a little bit, and I also want to double check that the other pieces, the console pieces, will snap to it without any issues before I go ahead and like rebuild everything. Alright y'all, so I think that'll do it for this episode. So let me quickly kind of walk through what I did and recap and summarize all that kind of good stuff. And might consider talking about what I might do in the next episode. Okay, so this episode, I put up all those satellite dishes, which is, I think looks great. Thanks again to the fine people at Bethesda Support for sending those to me. Or actually taking my caps and giving them to me. Or not my caps, my atoms. I installed the solar panel here that is feeding into that dish up there. There's a little power conduit underneath it. And then that in turn is powering this. And that's going to this little power conduit here, which is snaking up and around over here. So eventually this is going to just go right into the building here. Still trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to do that. But I mean, I know how I can do it, but how I want to do it, I should say. I didn't really do much else. I merged this one down into this, what is that, the radiation glove box thing. I think it looks kind of cool. And I tried to make this thing like the power source, but it didn't quite work. I don't know why I was thinking that would actually work, but it didn't. And I didn't really do much with the building, actually almost nothing. I'm gonna remove that. I just want to make sure that this power worked here. But as you can see, yeah, I created this. I wanted a little bit of light at the top, so almost like it's a on-air light, or I don't know, something. That's kind of the idea there. And yeah, and that's merged into this, and that doesn't work, but it gives the impression that it does, and that's all that matters to me. So all in all, kind of a cool build. I took about, you're only going to see probably 25 minutes, so half an hour of it, but it probably took about an hour and a half total, so I'm going to cut quite a bit out. And it's slowly coming along. And yeah, so I really hope you like this. Next episode, I think I might try to frame out the interior a little bit to kind of get a sense of what I want to do. And Oh yeah, actually I think I know what I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to frame out the interior a little bit and start planning kind of what I want to do, so you get a sense of kind of how things are coming along. And I don't know how much else I want to do out here. I mean, there's going to be decoration and stuff out here. I usually leave that to the last. Typically what I do is I plan everything from I thought I heard something. Oh, yep. There we go. Freaking scorched. I plan everything from like a layout perspective, and then I work outside in. So typically that's how I do it. So I might do the garden next time too. We'll see. We will see. If you let me know down in the comments what you want to see. I probably have already filmed it by the time you see this, but we will go from there. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. I will talk to you later. Have a good one.